Is it safe to travel to Cambodia? Now that's a question I wouldn't have expected to be so complicated a few years ago. Cambodia has always had this magnetic pull, a haunting beauty mixed with a resilient people and a rapidly growing tourism sector. But the safety picture today? It's evolving. And depending on where you're planning to go, how you're traveling, and what your comfort level is, it's worth taking a closer look before booking that ticket. Hi, I'm Stephen with the Travel Safety Network. After more than 25 years of working around the world in industrial safety and risk management, boots on the ground in dozens of countries, I'm now focusing on helping travelers like you navigate the world smarter and safer. Whether you're a first-time backpacker or a seasoned globetrotter, the questions around travel safety are more relevant now than ever, and Cambodia is one of those destinations that deserves a deeper dive. Let's start with the current headlines. As of mid-2025, Cambodia finds itself in the shadow of rising tension in the border region with Thailand. While much of the tourism narrative focuses on the grandeur of Angkor Wat and the laid-back charm of Siem Reap, it's important to recognize that the northwest border areas have seen heightened military activity and even periodic skirmishes in recent months. The dispute over land and historical claims between Cambodia and Thailand isn't new. It's flared up before. But what makes it concerning now is the combination of political instability in the region and the unpredictable nature of how local militias and border enforcement units might react. Government advisories from the US State Department, Global Affairs Canada, the FCDO in the UK, and the Department of Foreign Affairs in Australia have all reflected this concern. They advise caution in areas near the Cambodian-Thai border, particularly in provinces like Adar Mean Chea and Banteay Mean Chea. These aren't your typical tourist hotspots, but they do sit uncomfortably close to some trekking routes, remote temples, and overland travel paths. It's important to understand that Cambodia is still, in many ways, a developing country with limited infrastructure in some regions. That means when trouble flares up, be it political, natural disaster, or conflict-related, your options to quickly get out or find help can be limited. Reliable roads, dependable mobile signal, and even access to cash can't always be taken for granted once you step outside the urban centers. But conflict isn't the only consideration. Petty crime remains an issue in many parts of Cambodia, particularly in Phnom Penh and some areas of Sihanoukville. Tourists have reported instances of bag snatching, pickpocketing, and scam attempts, especially near popular markets and nightlife districts. One tactic that's gained some notoriety is the motorbike snatch and grab, where someone riding pillion on a passing scooter grabs your bag or phone and disappears into the traffic before you even register what happened. Now, is this uniquely Cambodian? Not at all. You'll find versions of this in dozens of major cities around the world. But the issue here is how limited the follow-up can be. Police response is often slow, and there's limited recourse if something valuable goes missing. Local enforcement lacks the resources, and frankly, sometimes the will to investigate these crimes in a way that gives you any confidence. And if you're someone who stands out based on race, gender presentation, or perceived wealth, be aware that you may draw additional attention. Most Cambodians are warm and welcoming, and the country has made a concerted effort to build its tourism sector. But with economic inequality comes opportunism. Foreigners are seen as well off, and that perception can make you a target. Water safety and food hygiene are two more concerns that pop up frequently. Tap water in Cambodia is not considered safe to drink, and even locals rely heavily on bottled or filtered water. That means brushing your teeth, washing fruit, or using ice cubes from questionable sources can carry risks of waterborne illness. It's not uncommon for travelers to experience bouts of food poisoning or stomach trouble, sometimes from street food, sometimes even from higher-end restaurants that are reliant on inconsistent refrigeration or water treatment. And let's talk healthcare for a moment. While the capital, Phnom Penh, has made strides in healthcare access, with a few international standard clinics catering to expats and embassy personnel, rural areas are a different story altogether. Should something go wrong, a motorcycle accident, a serious bout of illness, or even something as basic as a dental emergency, your best bet will often be to evacuate to Bangkok, Singapore, or even fly home. Travel insurance that includes medical evacuation is not optional here. It's essential. Transportation safety is another mixed bag. Tuk-tuks and moto-taxis are abundant and charming, but rarely do they come with seatbelts, helmets, or anything resembling safety regulation. Road conditions can be erratic, especially after rain, and while there's a growing number of ride-hailing apps like Grab, not every region is serviced. If you're traveling at night or to rural areas, plan carefully. Night travel on highways is discouraged by most embassies due to the high rate of fatal accidents involving large trucks and motorbikes. So where does that leave you if you're considering a trip to Cambodia? Well, it leaves you in the position of needing to travel smart, alert, and informed. It's not about being paranoid, it's about being prepared. Culturally, Cambodia is a gem. From the majesty of Angkor Wat at sunrise, to the profound heartbreak and resilience witnessed at the Killing Fields memorials, this is a country that leaves a deep impression. The people are kind, curious, and eager to share their history and hopes for the future. But this is also a nation still healing from decades of trauma, and the scars are visible if you take the time to look. Politically, Cambodia remains under the tight control of a single-party government. Dissent is not widely tolerated, and protests or opposition gatherings are quickly suppressed. Tourists aren't typically targeted in these situations, but being in the wrong place at the wrong time, especially around government buildings or political events, could be risky. It's a good idea to avoid these areas altogether, and to keep your social media commentary neutral while in country. Let's also address the recent surge of digital nomads and remote workers who have descended upon Southeast Asia, and Cambodia is starting to show up on that radar. Siem Reap, Kampot, and even Phnom Penh now have co-working spaces, yoga retreats, and vegan cafes. But with that comes a creeping tension. The influx of foreigners driving up prices and shaping local economies isn't always welcomed by everyone, and while the government wants the tourism dollars, some locals are starting to resent the cultural and financial imbalance. This hasn't resulted in violence or significant incidents yet, but it's a social undercurrent worth being aware of. Now let me touch on the elephant in the room: border crossings. For travelers coming overland from Thailand, Laos, or Vietnam, border crossings into Cambodia are a common route. However, the border with Thailand, especially in the northwest, is under the most scrutiny at the moment. Recent tensions and border flare-ups have made certain crossing points unstable, and there have been reports of sporadic gunfire, increased military patrols, and even landmine risks in less developed paths. If you're planning to enter Cambodia overland, double-check the current security status of your route, and be wary of unofficial guides or visa agents operating at these checkpoints. Fraud and bribery aren't unheard of. And here's something that might surprise you. While Cambodia's major cities often receive the most attention when it comes to crime stats and safety concerns, some of the lesser-known provinces, like Mondulkiri and Ratanakiri, are actually among the safest. Their remoteness and lack of tourist traffic mean they've avoided the typical crime patterns you see in urban centers. But that comes with the trade-off of fewer medical services, spotty communications, and long travel times if you run into trouble. So what's the final verdict? Is it safe to travel to Cambodia? In my view, yes, but not blindly and not everywhere. It's a destination where beauty and risk walk hand in hand. It demands respect, awareness, and thoughtful planning. This isn't the type of trip where you can just wing it. But if you're prepared, informed, and mindful of where you go and how you behave, Cambodia can be deeply rewarding. If you've made it this far, here's your surprise. Cambodia is one of the few countries in Southeast Asia where you can still legally explore wild jungle temple ruins that haven't yet been reclaimed by tourism. There are active archaeological sites where travelers with the right local guide can step into places that feel genuinely undiscovered. But they don't advertise this widely, and you won't find them on Google Maps. You'll need to earn that experience with respect, humility, and a little bit of risk management. So if you're serious about exploring Cambodia, or anywhere else that isn't just on the tourist brochure, make sure to subscribe to the Travel Safety Network. Join us as we dig deeper into the realities of global travel and help you turn information into confidence. Until next time, see the world, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.